This is a demonstration of the operation of the new Dandy Trickler. First of all, when you handle this hopper and tube assembly, handle it from the aluminum portion, the main body of the hopper. Next, you'll notice we have 2 nylon balls. You'll receive both of these 2 nylon balls along with this clamping screw in a little bag. We're going to mount the hopper on the stand. I'm going to use one of these nylon balls and the clamping screw to do this. First, we'll slide the hopper onto the stand, turn it on its side. We'll drop one of these nylon balls in this threaded screw hole. Then you install the clamping knob. Screw the clamping knob in all the way. And you'll notice we get a snug fit. It'll hold the hopper in place. At that point, you never have to worry about that nylon ball again. It'll stay in that hole. Even if you remove the hopper from the stand, it's still in there. We're going to start off with it about in that position. And then we have the control box here. This is slow speed is yellow, fast speed is the red. Requires 2 AA batteries, which are not included. We'll install those. By the way, if you use these batteries, you should remove them whenever you're not using the trickler. And also, these alkaline batteries sometimes overheat. Those Duracells I haven't had very much problem with, but the Energizers I had a lot of problems with those. Next thing we'll do is we'll test the trickler to make sure it functions. Push this yellow button, you should hear a hum. Push the red button, you hear another hum. Push the yellow button down and hold the yellow button down and push the red button. That pretty much tells you both speeds are working. Next thing we're going to do is install some powder in the hopper. I'm going to start off with this powder that I have here. This is a mixture of IMR 7828, and Varget, and Benchmark. That was all created from a mistake because I didn't keep track of my powders and I mixed them. Then I decided, well heck, I'll just use these to test this trickler so that we can see the different rates of flow with it. Move this around, maybe, and we'll zoom in here on the tube. Try and get this as clear as possible. Oops. That looks reasonable. We have a little white container under here. The purpose of the white container is so that we can see one kernel drop. I should have indicated. Notice I have that weight in the middle of the tube. That's a good place for starters. See if I can get this as clear as possible here. Okay, I think we're ready to go. First thing we're going to do, also you notice I only put about an ounce of powder in this hopper. That helps prime the tube. I'm going to push the red button. Well, we already have powder coming out. I don't know how that happened. Probably from me handling it. That's a little difficult to see. Let's see if I can. I can reposition this camera. Okay, it looks like we got a large piece of IMR 7828. See if I can get one kernel to drop. Now there's about 3 in there. They could have been there before. I didn't check it. I don't know what that is now. Whatever it was, it's probably benchmark or Varget. 1 kernel. Another 1 kernel. Since I have the tube primed, I'm going to go ahead and pour. I'm going to fill this hopper up. Now if I can get this thing to work. I'm going to fill the hopper up completely now since I have the tube primed. Not completely full, but almost. And we're going to go back over here to this end of the tube. Make sure my little cup is under there. There's a piece of something very small there. Probably Varget or benchmark. Let's see if I can get it to drop. I have 2 pieces in there. Apparently that didn't work too well. There's 1 piece of Varget or benchmark. There's a piece of IMR 7828, the large kernel. A piece of benchmark. Notice our tube is empty. I'm pushing the high-speed button now. There's 1 piece, 1 kernel. There's a piece of IMR 7828. We can push since we have a space between it, we can push this high-speed button. I'm pushing the high-speed button right now. Now what I'm going to do here, just for demonstration's sake, you'll notice that the base is underneath the hopper. We're going to rotate that base just to show you how this will speed up delivery. Rotated it about that much. We rotated the base, which will speed up the delivery of that powder. Now we're going to push the red button. Well, you can see you got enough space there. We can get that 1 kernel by pushing the red button or the yellow button. There's a slow speed. There's a fast speed. I'm pushing the slow speed now. Notice how it separated those two pieces of either benchmark or varget. Let's see if we can just get the one to drop. We'll empty that container. There's the one kernel. I push the high-speed button, I still got one kernel, but you can kind of visually see that powder, see what's going to happen next. There's one more kernel. Everybody has their own way of reloading. I don't reload like that. That's for bench rest folks. Now you notice the speed, and you notice that we have this weight about in the middle of the tube. To slow the delivery rate down, we'd move it towards the end of the tube. I'm going to speed it up by moving it back towards the hopper. We're going to see what kind of difference that made. I'm pushing the yellow button. Now here's the high speed button. Now we want to go back to say one kernel. We'll push the slow speed button. There's the one kernel. Virtually everything you do to this trickler changes the rate of flow. I just pushed the slow speed button. Really slow. Notice how slow it is. Let me rotate this base some more. I'm going to rotate the base further. Notice it's at about 90 degrees, roughly. Go back on the end of the tube. I'm going to push the slow speed button. There's a kernel. There's a piece of benchmark or varget. Let me see if I can just get that one kernel to drop, which I know I can. There's the one. There's the one. There's another one. Now I'm pushing the high speed button. One kernel. We want that one kernel. That's pretty easy. Okay, that's another easy one. That's that IMR 7828. And see, I think this is varget coming up, or benchmark 1. There's that. Everybody has their own requirements as far as this trickling is concerned. But this trickler is so versatile. You can do it any way you wish. I don't do one kernel myself because I'm not a bench rest shooter. There's a high speed. And we'll go back to one kernel. That's far enough away from the end I can use the red button. There's a one kernel. Doesn't take long before you become pretty proficient at using this trickler. There's a slow speed. Well, we're going to try one more thing. We're going to rotate this base further around and see what effect that has on it. I'm going to rotate it around clear to the back. You notice I have it completely out from underneath the hopper at this point. Let's see what happens. Let me zoom back in here on this tube. Since I rotated it all the way around, let me see if I can get that one kernel to drop. I'm pushing the slow speed right now. Can't get it to drop. Okay, we're going to rotate it back. We're going to put it back on, not quite 90 degrees, but back in that direction. There's one kernel. There's another kernel. There's high speed. There's slow speed. One kernel. Looks like some Varget and benchmark coming up. Let me see if I can get one of those. I can't even hardly see them. There's one. There's one more. There's another one. By the way, I'm pushing the slow speed button. There's an IMR, big one. There's a bench marker of Varget. At any rate, I think you get the picture. My new Trickler is made in the USA, by the way. Thank you very much for your time.